Hi.
Welcome to
I Love My Baby Butt. I'm in labor.
How you feel?
I feel good. I'm so excited, but also just scared for the actual baby to come through, to pop through.
Alright, want to get this out of your face? Say bye.
Bye, guys. So, the baby's a week old. We haven't filmed in a little while. My brain is a little bit fuzzy. I'm pretty tired, but we'll catch up to everything. And
right now we're just going to tell
right now we're just going to tell you the whole birth story and how I went into labor. So it's July 26th. It's the day before my due date. My due date was July 27th. And it's 4:20 in the morning. I wake up and I feel like my underpants are pretty wet. And I walk to the bathroom and I feel like a little dribble down my leg. And I think like, perhaps I just peed in my pants. Like, the thought crossed my mind it was maybe my bag of water's breaking, but I felt like I had heard that it was like a gushing type thing. So I thought, okay, this is just like a little dribble. And so I go back to sleep, wake up at about 7:30 and start feeling some like familiar period cramping type thing. So I'm like, oh my God, this could be it, but this could also be Braxton Hicks. So I felt like, it was sort of familiar, so I wasn't really convinced it was labor yet. And everyone says when you're going into labor. So I told Timmy, I was like, let's just chill for a little, or maybe Timmy told me, let's just chill for a little. And he decided not to go into work and to wait it out and to see what this actually was. So we laid in bed.
And Major League was on.
Major League was on. We laid in bed for a couple hours, and the contractions just gradually were getting worse, and they were happening closer to each other, and we were like, okay, this is on, like, this is what it is.
So, do we think it's definitely labor?
I think so. I mean, oh God, I think so. It's still lingering. How scary do I look?
Do you want to get a manicure or pedicure?
I mean, I do, but...
Labor!
So I got to the point where I was like, okay, I think we should go to the hospital. Like, I don't know how long check-in's gonna take. I don't know how quickly my contractions are gonna get so bad. I don't know how long like the epidural is gonna take. So I want to just be there in case everything takes a while. So we go to the hospital. Oh no, I call my doctor on the way. Big tip. I asked her if I should get something to eat before going to the hospital, because I remember someone telling me that they don't feed you once you get there. So I called her and asked her if I should eat, and she said yes. So I went and got a big meal, which was really necessary, because had I not, I don't know how I would have managed the rest of the day and had the energy to give birth.
Where did we go?
We went to Bristol Farms, and I got orange chicken, fried rice, tri-tip, and mashed potatoes. Giving the baby the little extra protein boost it needed to get out of my belly. So I get checked in, they start testing and monitoring my contractions, and they're like, okay, this is it. Oh, and they check to see if my bag of waters actually broke, and it did. So I think we checked in around 2, and I think I just let things happen for a couple hours. And finally by 4 was like, okay, it's time to get the epidural. Like, this is really, really, really painful. I was really scared for the epidural because I had heard what the procedure entailed, and it just seemed very scary to me, to be numbed by like a wire that they thread down your spine. I could be explaining it wrong, but I
think that's what it is.
Yeah. So I get the epidural, which was actually so easy. I didn't feel a thing. And within like 10 minutes, I did not feel any more contractions, and I was totally relaxed and so relieved. It was
awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. And it was like a little weird, obviously, not to have control of my legs. But I was just so relieved that the contractions were gone because they were so bad.
I didn't know the nurses did so much you know, when you were at the hospital?
Oh yeah, so your doctor doesn't show up until you're starting to push. At least for me. Like my nurses were overseeing everything for me the entire day. I thought your doctor like is in and out checking in on you throughout the whole process, but maybe she was busy or maybe that's just how it goes. Surprisingly, the worst thing was the IV line, the PICC line that they put in my wrist. It was so uncomfortable. And actually, you know, when you get an epidural, you have to have a catheter in, and even though the epidural helps with the pain of the contractions, it doesn't really affect like the pressure of the head pushing downwards. So I could feel his head like pushing on the catheter, which was pretty uncomfortable at times.
It's like, what, 10:30? And
I
she
think
comes
it's-
in and she's like, it's go time?
Yeah, I think at like 10:30, she's like, oh no, not, well, maybe at 11. She's like, okay, I think Dr. Sands is gonna be here any second. Like, maybe it's time to say bye to your family. So they pull up the stirrups, they get like the spotlight ready, and they start to tell you like how to push, like what the process is going to be. So they tell you to breathe in through your nose, hold your breath. While you're holding your breath, then push as hard as you can, like out of your butthole, like you're needing to take a massive poop. And it was just so hard for me to do that. Like, it was so hard for me to hold my breath and push. They tell you to do that as soon as you feel a contraction coming on. So not only are you, you know, like feeling this discomfort and pain of the contraction, but then you have to hold your breath and push. It was just exhausting. And I didn't know how long I would have to do it for, and I think I ended up pushing for like over an hour, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you did really well. You pushed for like an hour and 20 minutes, which like the doctor and the nurse said was very little. Even though it was like really hard for you, you were doing a great job. But it's hard. I'm sure it's hard to believe that, like when you're so exhausted.
So Timmy was standing behind me with my mom. Timmy on one side, my mom on the other. They were holding hands behind my head and like pushing me forward every time I had to push and giving me that momentum, which was a cute moment for them and also helped me, except for towards the end. They started not bickering, but one of them was like, get the phone, like take pictures, you're gonna want video. And then they went back and forth, and Timmy was like, no, I don't think so. And I was like, you're gonna want it. And then I remember being like, please stop. I think it's like the only time I've ever yelled at my mom in my entire life. And
then he came out.
And for like 2 seconds, I feel like he wasn't crying, and I got a little bit nervous. Because they had warned me earlier that he had like pooped a little bit while he was still in my belly, and I guess that's some sign of maybe some stress. So they said that they would have to have a respiratory team on hand, like in case he came out a little bit distressed. So I remember for 2 seconds not hearing anything and getting really nervous, and then all of a sudden like hearing the crying and being so relieved, and then looking down and seeing like his big red ball sack before the doctor could even say it's a boy. And that was that. They were like, do you want skin to skin or do you want us to clean him off first? And I was like, skin to skin immediately. And my doctor then stitched me up, which was actually also very uncomfortable that no one talks about. I don't know, maybe my epidural was wearing off by that point, I was thinking. So yeah, the stitching up kind of took long, and she was having lots of other conversations too. But then the baby was here, and I was just so relieved and so happy, and so excited he was a boy. Now, like, can't even imagine having any other child but him. And that was that, right?
Yeah.
And Timmy got to go into my whole family in the waiting room and yell, it's a boy, which I wish we would have gotten on tape, but oh, I hear him.
Should we go meet him?
Yeah, do you want to go meet him really quick? I mean, you've met him. Do you want to go meet him really quick? So that's my story. And that's Sunny. Excited to show you more of him and follow his life.
Bye.
Bye.